Hey, this is Rick Kaselj from exercisesforinjuries.com and fixmywristpain.net. Now, I'd done a previous video where I ended up talking about what to do if you have wrist pain when you do push-ups. Now, I talked about 3 things that you can do if you have wrist pain when you do push-ups. And I'll have a link to that video down below. But I kind of held off my best tip that I end up doing when it comes to wrist pain from push-ups. And what that is incorporating some fascial stretching. So in the other video, I kind of talked about how we kind of are moving more into that kind of collapsed position when it comes to that shoulder tucking, elbow bending, wrist flexing, the hand flexing. That ends up shortening everything up in that arm, and specifically the fascia. So the fascia that ends up connecting all of those muscles ends up shortening up. And we need to kind of target that and, lengthen that in order to allow for more movement in the wrists, in order to allow for a push-up to end up being pain-free. So what I can end up doing is putting the hand on the wall. So this is the fascial stretch that I'll end up doing. And it tends to be a fascial stretch for the whole arm. So what I'll end up doing is putting my hand against the wall. Arm is just a touch below shoulder height. The fingers are pointing straight up. And for some people that might be enough. They might end up feeling a light stretch, and they might end up feeling that light stretch from the middle finger through their palm, through the front of their forearm to their biceps into their shoulder, and that might be enough. And I'm just going to get them to hold that position. I'm going to get them to hold it for a good length of time with light tension. It could be 1 minute. It could end up being 2 minutes. Now, how I end up progressing this, if this ends up getting too easy, is now I add rotation. I'm rotating that arm out. So I've externally rotated that arm out. Now the middle finger is pointing back. And that'll end up intensifying the stretch. So now I end up doing a fascial stretch, really intensifying that stretch through that middle finger, palm, forearm, biceps, into the shoulder. So start off with the middle finger pointing straight up, middle finger pointing back, arms straight, hands a touch below shoulder height. You're putting a light load through it, and you're looking for a light stretch that ends up happening, and holding for about a minute or 2. So there you go. That ends up being like my number 1 tip when it comes to, if you end up having wrist pain when doing push-ups, look at doing that fascial stretch and loosening up the fascia that is in the hand, forearm, upper arm, and shoulder. So there you go. Make sure you watch that other video where I go through the other 3 tips to kind of focus in on when it comes to wrist pain from push-ups. And also, if you do have wrist pain, make sure to swing by fixmywristpain.net to look at the program that myself and Jed Johnson had put together to help you, overcome and prevent wrist pain. So this is Rick Kaselj from exercisesforinjuries.com and fixmywristpain.net saying take care and bye-bye.